Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flickering Myth. My name is EJ Marino. Alan is joining me for a conversation, but we have a very special guest, Ricky. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, awesome.
Well, other than you guys pitched this to me, I needed you here because this is not for EJ. I did homework. You guys made me do homework and watch a movie. We are talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark. One asterisk, my first time watching it, I thought they were looking for Noah's Ark the whole time. Very disappointed when they were looking for something else very religious. I was like, oh, cool, I was at religion, but wrong.
So we have learned very quickly that EJ is not a big Steven Spielberg fan, and also no religious upbringing.
Not at all. Did not know the Ark of the Covenant. I was just like, wow, this is really good. I was like, Spielberg and Lucas making this up. Oh, it's real. Okay. Well, real. We'll get into that in a little bit. But
we're very inclusive here. It's true.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever you want to do.
Is this going to turn into a religion podcast instead?
Yes, actually.
We gotta dodge that.
Yes, this is the round table. I'm a Scientologist. Which I don't know. This movie maybe. I feel like that's the next one. Who knows? Which, okay, actually, in theme, there is a new Indiana Jones coming out, the 5th entry into this franchise. Harrison Ford was just spotted on set today, and Harrison Ford's stunt double wearing a creepy Harrison Ford mask. I will put the image up here, actually, because you have to see it. It is terrifying because, you know.
That.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
Oh, yeah, no, it's something. But yeah, so in spirit of this, but also because it is just an endless topic that everyone loves, this film is very, very important. Do you guys have this as a childhood favorite, Alan?
Yes, absolutely. This is one of the few movies, maybe the only movie that I loved so much as a kid and somehow love even more now.
Those are hard. My other one is a Spielberg movie. It is Jaws. I loved it as a kid. I grew up and I then was like, oh, this is cinema. Like, this is a good film. What about you, Ricky? Was this a growing up favorite?
Yeah. I think like the first time I saw it was I don't know, 8 years old. And yeah, I really liked it. I can't remember if I watched all of it the first time I saw it because over at my grandpa's house, and he probably didn't care. He probably let me watch the whole thing. So, you know, Nazis' faces melting and all. But yeah, no, I loved it. And yeah, then when I found out that there were 2 more and that one of them included James Bond, because at that point I was already a James Bond fan. So I was just like, okay, no, I'm getting into this series. This is awesome. So yeah, this was definitely a favorite to go back to like every few weeks or months or yeah. So this was definitely a favorite.
Oh,
I remember I love these movies so much. There was weirdly like an off-season gift. I only get gifts once a year because my birthday's like right after Christmas. But for some reason, in the middle of the year, and it just blew my mind. My parents told me they had a surprise for me. I had to wait for like a week. They built the surprise up, and they, I guess they had to order it or something. And they gave me the trilogy box set of the Indiana Jones movies. I must have been like 6 years old.
Oh, that was Columbia House then. Yep.
Yeah. Probably.
Sorry to be old and date myself with Columbia House.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I think we had a few Columbia House things, so I think they went specifically for that, and that they gave that to me, and that was like the best gift I ever had. Last Crusade is my first Sean Connery. That's my first Sean Connery exposure. I wasn't into Bond. Like, I was probably into Bond then, but I didn't go back and watch the Connery ones. I saw like 1 or 2 on TV later, but I didn't actually go back and dig into those till I got like the DVD box sets when I was like 13 or whatever, whenever those came out.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize the cross section for this movie of like Bond, George Lucas, Spielberg, Ford. There's just so much into this that really speaks to everyone that's not EJ. Because okay, so kind of set up for me. I had seen this movie maybe as a kid, one of those things you watch on like TNT or something, just when it's on TV. So I had known about it, and also the beginning of this film and the end of this film are just two of the most famous scenes of movies kind of thing. Like I think everyone has seen them, from the ball rolling to the melting of Nazis, which that is the fine looking part of that. The rest of that scene is where it looks bad. I always thought the face melting part was bad, but the vortex in space, I was like, no.
Oh, I like that, like rotoscoping weirdness like that. To me, that looks creepy.
That was something that it puzzled me, because I didn't really love the effects, the special effects of this. The practical effects are fine. But I was just like, for Star Wars to be around the same time, I thought Star Wars looked better. So I was just kind of like, it's just interesting now really comparing older special effects, even at the times. Some are still better than the others, much like today. So that was kind of a takeaway I had. I enjoyed the movie for the most part. I thought it was fun. A complaint and a positive I had is it went by. It is just, it was like pedal to the metal. It just goes in. There's no break in the action, really. So I liked it, but also at the same time, I was just like, breathe. Like, I want to enjoy these scenes a little bit more. It felt like a fun action scene would happen. It would stop. We would set up the next action scene and we would just do it. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more between like Harrison Ford. We'll talk about Harrison in a second. He's interesting in this. But yeah, I that's the one thing I will say. Pacing was just interesting in this film. I didn't expect it to be so breakneck.
Even the exposition scenes in this, which there are a lot. Like, I mean, not necessarily scenes, but there's a lot of exposition to get through. Like, it lets you know what this shit's about. Even those are engaging, though. Like, it to me, like, there's never a moment that where you just kind of like fade out. And you're just like, oh, they're just talking about shit. Like, maybe at the beginning a little bit, I don't know, but
but again, even at the beginning, kind of the little scene right before we get into the action where he's kind of at his school and stuff like that. I was just like, I need this. And just me being a non-action fan, I was like, I actually like these moments of dialogue. There is really good acting, because first and foremost, Paul Freeman eats this movie up. He's the main bad guy. He plays.
Oh yeah, he's a Belloc. Yeah.
Belloc. Yes, Belloc. I know him as Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Real quick.
Completely forgot that was him.
It is.
Yeah. Oh my god. Other than Ford, no one in this movie had a good career after this. I think Karen Allen did a few things, most notably Scrooged, I think. But like everybody else is just
Alfred Molina.
This might be Molina, but that this is a bit part for him. But other than that, like everybody else's career is, and no shame. They worked.
John Rhys Davis, when I look up on his Wikipedia, he's most known for Treebeard. Like,
he's Gimli. He's Gimli.
Yes,
in those movies. Like John Rhys Davies probably, other than Ford, had the best career.
Because John Rhys Davies has been in like Sliders and Lord of the Rings, and
he was in a Bond movie.
Bringing
it back. Living Daylights.
Bond movie. So he's had a pretty big career, but everyone else is.
But like, what's his name? His last name's Lacey. I can't remember.
Ronald Lacey.
Like Ronald Lacey's he was in one other notable thing that I can't think of.
He was in Blackadder. That's the only thing I remember him from. The weird like TV show from the UK.
There was another big movie that I can't quite remember, and the one that I can remember, and this is so sad, and nobody should remember this, but like he's in Red Sonja.
Oh. I mean, he had a really great career. I'm looking him up on Wikipedia before this film.
Yes.
One of those character actors from the 70s, it seems, playing the most caricature Nazi I've ever seen. Like, I'm not like offended by a Nazi being portrayed badly, which I saw a review at this time saying that this was an offensive portrayal of a Nazi. And I'm like, that doesn't exist. Like, that doesn't, like Springtime for Hitler, all of them. I don't care. But yeah, no, I thought Paul Freeman was great, but I wanted him to have a little bit more. I never felt his villain character, just I wanted a little bit more. And that's kind of my overall theme of this movie is everyone I wanted a little bit more from. Because we'll get my controversial one. I don't like Harrison Ford in this role. I honestly think anyone could play Indiana. Not anyone, because I thought about it. It was hard. First person that came to my head was Tom Selleck. He was up for the part. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was the original choice.
Him and Michael Douglas were the first two that popped in my head that I felt would have been a little bit more fun than Ford. I just feel Ford has never.
Have I got a movie for you?
I love Romancing the Stone. Which, yes, then maybe he would have never done Romancing. Yeah, that's my biggest hot take from this is I'm not in love with Ford as his character, but maybe it's the character as well that he is kind of like nonchalant and he's just kind of cool for everything. So that was just I wanted to like him a little bit more. So how do you guys feel about my hot take about not loving Harrison Ford?
I'm literally like in love with early 80s Harrison Ford. Like if Harrison Ford walked out of a time machine and was just like, let's get married, and be like, I'm already married, maybe go back another 5 years or so and we can have a different conversation. But but like I'm not claiming to be, LGBTQ, whatever, but I am exactly that gay. Like,
well, he's great, and he
very
does
specifically that gay.
He has a charm to him. He's definitely fine in this role. There was just something I wanted more from him, which I watched Temple of Doom. I liked him more in Temple of the Doom. Did not like the movie more. So
that's fair.
It was like a weird thing.
I like how Harrison Ford in this one, he's like that mix of like smart and charismatic, but then like rugged, because like you watch that intro scene and he's wearing the hat and the jacket and like dirty type clothes and everything, and then like after all that you see him at school and like he's like, oh hey, he actually looks like really well put together, and oh, here's a whole class of women just fawning over.
To me, this is like last great movie star.
So, but yeah, Ford.
I could see that. I don't know. I wanted to like him more because he is the star of this. Where I don't know, how do people feel about Karen Allen in this film? Because I really enjoyed her, and I thought
I like Karen Allen.
Okay,
Karen
good.
Allen.
I like her a lot too.
Because I don't remember liking again when I saw it, Kate Capshaw in the next one did not like her, and I thought everyone.
I don't think anyone does.
Which and I thought that hatred was for all women in this franchise kind of vibe. So I didn't realize that like she was really good. Karen, she felt like a peer to him, which I really enjoyed. That this movie is about him being a man, and there's a machismo aspect to this that it's kind of 80s, where 80s either had you big hulking Arnold Schwarzenegger, or you were the common man, the working class dude who's also a badass. He kind of, Harrison falls into that. So I was worried that they would put the women down like Die Hard. I love Die Hard, but what does John McClane's wife do in Die Hard? Nothing. Where Karen was kind of a badass, and she did something here, and I really, really enjoyed I think Marion is her name.
Yes.
Which she was also the one in Crystal Skull, which I've actually seen that one before. I saw that one.
She's Shia LaBeouf's mother.
As much as I dislike the visual effects in Crystal Skull, it makes me realize even at the hokiest practical effects we had in Raiders, still when it looked like a theme park ride at Universal, it was still better than anything we have with CG, and I loved it. I think that intro scene looks so good, and even melty faces that are made in claymation, I loved them. I loved it. I think this movie has a charming quality, and for me, not having nostalgic value, I like that there's a charm to it.
Well, one of the things that I really like about it is you get this like really good mix of like I don't know, like serious might not be the right word, but like it's like, okay, like this is the plot, we have to stop the Nazis, we have to stop, like, find this religious artifact, we have to go through all this danger, but then you get like a lot of slapstick humor in this, like lots of physical slapstick humor,
Yeah.
which is like pretty like and I'll say it again, like you guys were saying about Paul Freeman, like at the beginning, like he's holding the idol and he's doing this like maniacal, like the cheesiest maniacal laugh, and then you get like all these other kind of like goofy tropes thrown in there, like that are like throwbacks to like the old cinema serial area of like serial adventure, and then just this whole all this funny physical comedy of like John Rhys Davies like rolling down the mountain with the flag, or the stuff with like anything involving Karen Allen, like she's really tough but then also has some funny physical moments, or
like that plane scene. I loved that, like, when she's at the plane and Harrison's fighting the big kind of muscly dude. I thought that was such a fun scene, and like it was slapsticky without being like Three Stooges. I feel like sometimes slapstick could go from like this is great to like now we're just doing a bit. Where
like,
I love this.
The bit like when they're on the boat and they're having a moment and she steps in front of the mirror and then twirls it and hits him in the face. Like that's hilarious, and it's just like, oh, did you say something? Doesn't even realize. So it's like, looking back, it's like really like just well done how they mixed like all those elements together without it being like, okay, this is too much, this is cringy, this is taking away my investment in the movie type thing, like,
which it's crazy that came from George Lucas, who I find him to never have any of those qualities. I find his human dialogue, when it's two characters not really interacting together, I don't particularly like that from Lucas. And that's, you see it in the prequel Star Wars, where I think he's the writer of this film. So he story by so still it's Kasdan. It's Rogue One Kasdan, or Solo Kasdan. Coming in and fixing Star Wars movies later on, but so there is still a quality to this that I don't particularly think of. Even Spielberg does really well with kids. I never found his adult drama to be my favorite. Some of my least favorite parts of Jaws is when it's just Brody and his wife. So I liked that there was actual love. I believe these two, and I was kind of upset, and I know that doesn't work with the continuity, but that she didn't come back for the sequel. And I was just like, why does this like relationship work so well and we can't get more of it? I was really kind of
like that's one thing I don't get about, like, I love Last Crusade. I love it. It's tied or might be my favorite of the series with Raiders. But like that has always been one of my complaints of like, oh, where's Marion? Why isn't she here? And it's not until Crystal Skull she comes back, and by then it's by the point in that movie where she comes, it's like, no, I'm already out of this movie. This is this is not good.
Because Temple of Doom is a prequel.
Yes.
I got a hot take here. I like Crystal Skull more than I like Temple of Doom.
Crystal Skull, when I even saw it, I don't have enough weight to say with any, compared to something else. I always found it to be fun. As bad as the moments are, the good moments I do find to be good. Where Temple of Doom, I was just like, okay, it somehow felt more racist in the first movie. Like, there's time. I will say, this is just a pure 2021 mindset watching it. Sometimes with the indigenous folks in this film, I'm just like, I don't like some of it.
That's a little harder to take now. But like,
there was no brown face. There was because there was a point where Harrison is kind of in a disguise, and I was waiting for there to be some 80s brown face there, and there wasn't. So stupid little things that I was like, yay. Now, my other hot take thing, I don't really love John Williams' score in this. I find it to be kind of intruding sometimes.
See, that's not unfair.
It's sometimes John Williams
could be mixed down a little more. But no, I mean, I love all of the music. But like as far as the mix, I can maybe see
and there's a slight, this is a pure what it is homaging, which is one of my issues, is sometimes I do feel this movie is homaging a time period film, a lot of Humphrey Bogart era, a lot of, like you said,
Mhm.
the old serials. Sometimes with the score where it's like punch, music sting, punch, music sting, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's there's a cheese quality to this movie that I don't feel is as tongue in cheek as some of the other cheesy moments that I
Yeah.
do feel they are kind of homaging a very cheesy time period. There's that 40s, 50s thing where sometimes I'm like, nah, this is just cheesy because it is
Yeah.
cheesy.
Yeah.
But I
I
love the Jaws score, so it's not like I hate all John Williams.
Yeah, I I love John Williams, like almost in nearly everything he's done, and I love his indie scores. But that said, there are moments in this, like aside from the main indie theme, um, that are really just kind of like riffs on Star Wars, because you get
Yes,
you get Marion's theme, which
Mhm.
sounds a lot like Princess Leia's, just like a
that's
few
Williams though.
notes changed here and there. But yeah, but and
Certainly
then
in
you
this
get
era too.
yeah, and then you get the the chase through the town, when Indy's trying to save Marion, and
I think that stuff sounded like
he's going
Jaws.
through all the laundry baskets, like that music bit sounds a lot like the asteroid field in Empire Strikes Back. As a huge Star Wars fan, when I watch this movie and hear those bits, it takes me out of it just
Well,
a bit, because I'm just like, oh, that's Leia's theme and that's the asteroid theme.
that's how I
Like,
felt
Yeah,
with one of the adventure themes. It just sounded like at the second half of Jaws when they're on the boat and they're like action adventure time. There's this kind of like very chipper music that dun, 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 like it's just kind of that where I'm like, okay, again, it's just John Williams is so good that he can homage himself, so kind of vibes. So that's why
yeah.
I can't be too mad
Well,
at him.
here's another hot take, maybe, because most of his memorable stuff was done around this time, like the stuff that everybody references. John Williams got way better as he got older. Like John Williams, like 90s forward, like John Williams prequel
yeah,
scores are
that is
great.
true. Yeah,
John Williams Star Wars sequel scores
yeah,
are the best things about this movie.
Yo, John
Like,
Williams went off in those prequels. This is a sidebar. There would be scenes where nothing is happening in those prequel movies, and his score is like dun 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 dun. I'm like, yes, you do these politics,
like,
and you score me to this politics. He's unnecessary. Which again, I'm a big the Home Alone score, which I think is
yes.
one of
oh
the best.
yes,
Yeah,
mhm.
It's just
that his Harry
magical.
Potter score, which I think references heavily, like
Yeah,
his Home Alone stores. I guess the Chris Columbus movies are.
yeah,
But
Yeah, and
yeah, I think he got way more interesting way later. As we're right here, like this is some of his most iconic stuff, including like his Superman stuff. But a lot of that, like I think he's pulling from kind of the same stuff, and then as he gets a little older, he just goes a little more wild.
yeah.
it's kind
He
of how we
starts
feel about
branching out.
this era of Tenet, Nolan, where a lot of Christopher Nolan sounded the same for a little bit. And I think
Mhm.
once we get past this era and we look at his before, we're gonna be like, oh my God, he's still so great. But we were in a thing where, again, you get paid to do what you get paid to do. Danny Elfman had that problem where Danny Elfman made
Oh, did you
Tim
mean
Burton
Zimmer?
songs. Yes, Zimmer,
Yeah.
Nolan, yes. But yes, that's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe, like same person.
Oh yeah, Zimmer's like so much more than what people reference him as.
Yes.
Like I like his Blade Runner score a lot. I felt like I was a little worried when they
Yeah.
put him on that, because I was like, Zimmer's been like kind of, I don't really want a Zimmer sound on this. And then he did it. I was like, oh, of course, you're
Yeah.
a composer. You can do good work. That's not just Nolan drum beat and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a digression.
Yeah, sorry to everyone. I'll asterisk this with John Williams. All right, so to kind of do a bigger thing, is there a favorite scene from this? Is there a scene where you go, if I could only watch one scene on YouTube, what would it be?
For me, like, I don't know, it's probably going to be an answer for a lot of people, but like the beginning, like the trek through the forest, and then in the temple, and then the boulder chase, and then the race to the plane, that all acts like as a little short film. Like they could stop it when he takes off on the plane, and that would be like a great little adventure short film.
Yeah.
And like,
I just was impressed.
Yeah, like you almost wouldn't have to continue it after that. But
well, I was impressed that was just the intro. Like that was just how you start off your movie with, to me, one of the most infamous set pieces in all of film history. And it's in 5 minutes of the early beginning, and then it's like never referenced again. It's crazy that like that Boulder thing has been parodied in every goddamn thing after, and it's I don't want to say a throwaway scene, but it's just literally the intro. It's not even the main part of this movie.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Bond intro, you know? Like,
it's a cold open.
Intro.
It's just a cold open
that almost has nothing to do. It almost has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. And like you said, EJ, they only referenced the Boulder scene once in Raiders, like after it, when Indy tells Marcus like I lost it, I was this close, and and then it's never brought up again.
I mean, I guess that introduces you to Belloc and everything, but other than that, irrelevant. Okay, mine are not so action packed. But I have two. I have when you first see him meet Marianne
in the bar.
Yes.
The little club thing.
Yes. I think that's a great sequence, and like they immediately have chemistry. Like it's immediately engaging. Like you get her, like he references her, I think vaguely before, because they were talking about her dad had the thing, but like as soon as they meet each other, you're just like, these people have known each other forever, and they have had bad times.
Yeah, it's like kind of what you both were saying about like the exposition and the backstory, like that scene where they meet each other, that doesn't feel like it's like, okay, this is boring, they're exes, get back to the action. No, it's like really compelling, and like
they could literally be saying nothing to each other, and it would still play.
They have great chemistry, and Karen Allen is like, for going up against an actor like Harrison at that point in his career, she does really well.
She matches his charisma like beat for beat, and that's
hard. It's hard. No, and Alan, what was your other scene that you said?
Bad Dates. Literally anything with him and what is John Rhys Davies' character's name? Sal, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Because I always want to call him Karen Bay, because that's who he is. He's Karen Bay from Russia with Love, pretty much, and that's what I love. He's that mentor, that mentor character like Bond gets in some of the best Bond stories. That's like a direct lift there, and I love their dynamic together too. Like I think it's great. Other than that, I do love the him shooting the guy before the sword, just like the guy swinging.
Which was an improvised scene too. like EJ, I don't know if you read this, but like that scene, like that was supposed to be an extensive like sword fight scene. They shot it a few times, and then like just for this take, Harrison Ford was just so tired from like the physicality of doing it that he just pulled out his gun and like shot the guy, and Spielberg loved that so much. That's the take they used.
Well, that was something I will say. Spielberg has a sometimes Tarantino quality where I feel like he will shoot something 85 times before he gets that shot. Something about this just felt like he was just like, no, that felt good, let's go with it. And I like that. I felt there was something looser, and I know because like he does E.T. the next year, where I feel is one of those meticulous, he had to work so hard on that, so I like that.
I think that I think I read that was specifically like that is how he shot this movie, which is wild because this has like some of the best cinematography, some of the best things that he shot, but I think he literally like went over budget on every movie before this. Like I think 1941, like he went insanely over budget, so he was like, I gotta prove I can make a movie without wasting money. And so this was shot a lot more snappy, a lot more free flowing, and works. In
Yeah, you
such a
can
big way.
tell there's a different energy to this film because again, I love Jaws. It is such a meticulous film. It feels like every shot was just like like when that one shooting star, that one scene in Jaws, I was like, he probably made that shooting star happen because he knows it was for that scene. Where this movie, it feels sloppy in the nicest way. I mean that too. Where like I like that rough around the edge filmmaker, and I like when filmmakers get to play like that. I think sometimes that's why I like early Nolan. I love Memento because Memento, as meticulous as that film is just insane and it's weird. And this movie has a fun indie movie quality, no pun intended, where it felt like this movie was made for $1.50, and I like that. Like as expensive as this movie is, it feels so cheap in the nicest way. It feels like a cartoon, and I love that. It just has this kiddish vibe to it, and I definitely got sucked into it, and I can see the nostalgic vibe to this. I was glad I wasn't like, this movie's bad, but that's also not me. I love
I'm glad you were too, because
no, but again, like I said, my only issues were really, I'm not a big Harrison Ford fan, so I do see the charisma of it at this point. I just feel like I would have loved someone else as this, or the better way is I just feel like this character isn't just a definitive Harrison character, where I think Han Solo is. I don't know if anyone else could play Han Solo, where Indy, I feel like it can, which is a weird thing to say, kind of vibe. But
that I agree with. I think you can recast Indy as where Han Solo, not so much. But I don't know, like. But I guess they have recast Han Solo.
yeah.
But
I don't ever try to do that with Indy.
But that's a younger version of them, though.
Yeah.
So like,
So
if they got anybody else to play Han Solo in the sequel trilogy, like,
yeah, because I guess we do have.
I think a lot of interest in the sequel trilogy would have been lost immediately.
Yeah.
If they said Harrison Ford is not coming back for the sequel trilogy, we're going to recast.
That would have been. Yeah, that would have been a huge drop off.
Well,
but yeah, I guess we have had like younger versions of Indy by two different actors. We had River Phoenix and
that's
Last
right.
Crusade, and
I think Ryan
not
Flannery.
That was
right?
River Phoenix in Last Crusade.
Yeah, and then
I forget who was in the Young Indiana Jones.
It's one of the Boondock Saints, ain't it? Flannery.
Really?
I think so.
Young Indy. Young Indiana.
It's
the only person to Google this. It is Sean Patrick Flaherty. Good job. You're.
Oh my God! See, sometimes I remember movies.
Oh yes, I'm thinking of Young Hercules with Ryan Gosling.
I didn't realize
that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Wow. No, and I like it. I think I'm happy that this movie kind of exists because I definitely see where so many people. I mean. The Tomb Raider games. I love the Tomb Raider games. They're just Indiana Jones. Though I will say I did read that archaeologists are not happy with this movie because he's not great at his job. And I kind of like that.
He's very bad at it.
Which Harrison does well.
He is to archaeology what Matlock is to lawyers, but he commits all the cardinal sins. But
Alan, are you 50?
Also yes.
A Matlock reference? Oh man, I was just like,
I was gonna say he's a bad archaeologist, like James Bond is a bad spy, but I'll appreciate the Matlock reference.
That would have been a better one. That would have made me look less 50. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, some 12-year-old just turned off this video because he was like, "What the fuck is Matlock?" Get out of here.
Don't find out what Matlock is if you don't know what it is, because it's an awful, awful, awful show.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this. This was so fun.
Hey, guys, can we turn this into a Matlock?
Yeah, just the spin-off now of this, where we review Matlock every episode of Matlock one by one.
I don't even have the patience for that.
It's fine. I'm watching Murder, She Wrote right now, so I can't.
It's a better show. It's a much better show.
But all right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. This was really fun to talk about it. I'm glad you guys. I don't want to say you made me watch it, but I'm glad you guys told me to watch it because it was a good way to spend my afternoon. And I'm gonna finish the rest of them before 2022 for I'm gonna watch the one with Sean Connery because it seems like that is a one to watch. Which
Yeah, it's
Yes.
so good.
Yeah, that is at least on par with this. I think I like this one a little bit more, but Last Crusade is really good.
All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Ricky. I'm glad to have you on. We have to go talk about more movies soon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yes. And Alan, thank you for
Yeah,
joining.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me as always.
All right, guys, comment down below, subscribe to Flickering Myth, and give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy. All right, guys, thank you again. Talk to you guys soon.